Ted is here thanks to the support of Remington Technologies and Konica Minolta. Please make him welcome.
Now, how do you transform your business? I suggest that you build it on a foundation of culture of innovation. This picture, sexier on the TVs, but that is SpaceX's Starship SN-15, Mission 15. It was the 5th attempt at landing a spaceship. 75 years of dropping them in the ocean when they're done with them. That's innovation. That's pretty exciting. I love that it's the opposite. You think it's taking off, but it's landing. That's pretty cool. All right, so a little bit about myself. I don't come from a long line of innovative or big thinkers. I come from a long line of dirty fingernails and humble roots. My parents tried being business people several times and failed every time. That created, and me and my 3 sisters needed to work from our early teenage years to pay our way. I was a gas attendant, I was a small engine repair guy, farmhand, pizza delivery, landscaper, tree digger. I dug over 3,000 trees in one summer. I was a garbage man, and I sold women's shoes for one day. To get to school, though, my family, nobody went past grade 9 or 9th grade. I'm not sure how we say it in PNG, but they made me push through, and that was a tough time. I was working several jobs and had to pay my way through school, and I lived on a friend's couch. That was great. My rich friends who were traipsing, having parties and whatever, and I was just working and sleeping, and that was my whole life to get through school. That school did have a work term in it at the end, which was probably the best thing. So you kids, if you have a way to get an internship or a co-op or a work term at the end of your school, is one of the best ways to get some work experience. So Peter's good about that. He can hook you up. Anyway, but that work term ended up being my first real job, and that was working at Spar Aerospace in Canada. And you see here the space shuttle from, in '96, Space Shuttle Endeavour. I think it was Mission 72. Spar Aerospace, the company I worked for, built the Canada arm, which was attached to the space shuttle. And that mission was where they went out, and I don't know if anybody's old enough to remember, but the NASA went out and grabbed a failing Japanese satellite out of space, brought it into the cargo bay, and brought it back home. What that meant for me, as my letters there say, is I'm a fairly technical person at Spar Aerospace, and we collected anywhere from 25 to 75 terabytes of information every time a space shuttle went up or down. That was a lot of innovation, a lot of thinking, and I think back to those days as my first time really being in charge of a lot of data, a lot of don't screw up kind of data. You don't go up to space every day, so it was a big deal. But I loved that job. And I don't know if anybody here worked your whole life at one job. I thought that's where I was going to work my whole career. But on a fateful day, they decided to outsource that IT team. And I felt nothing but betrayal. I thought I was a really loyal person, loyal to the company, and they let me go. So that made me need to innovate myself. And that was a big deal. That's what I want to talk to you about today, a little bit, is my path to get here today. On that day, I started a company with my friend. 2 guys started an IT company working out of a coffee shop. And we built that up through creating cloud before it was cool and managed services before it was cool. We ended up at 140 people doing global rollouts and global support. Pretty cool, award-winning. We won all the awards in Canada, rated #1 cloud, #1 service, #1 managed service provider. And then Konica Minolta bought that company. So Konica Minolta bought IT Weapons, my company. And I learned a lot about going from a small business, a small, very, very adaptable business, to a big, giant global organization. It was a lot of learning I went through there. After Canada, I worked with Konica Minolta US on a borderless project to bring Canada and the US to operate like one big IT services group. From there, I worked in several countries in Europe to bring transformation there as well. And then I ended up here in Australia, and then I came to see you guys. So that's how I got here today. So some fine details here. So IT Weapons was, like I said, a managed service provider, a high-tech group, cybersecurity, not as good as Matt, of course, but we worked a lot on big projects around the world. But you can imagine two people in a coffee shop working their way up to 140 people with a lot of change, a lot of innovation to go through there. What I learned, a couple of really important lessons. This is what I want to share with you. So to some people, you work in a small organization. To some people, you work in large organizations. You'll get this kind of flow where I've gone from small places to bigger places each time, learning a lot of lessons. But in a small company, you typically lead by example. And that's really easy if you're 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 people. But at some point, you realize that you have to start using the bigger company words like core values. And as much as I thought that was a silly thing back then, it ended up being one of the most important lessons. And that is that we went to all our customers and we went to every employee and asked them in one word, describe our company, describe why people work with us. And the interesting thing was that both customers and employees used the same words. They chose integrity and expertise. So that was really great. That helped us, I guess, grow up a lot. And I think that's an important thing, that once you have your core values, you can use them in your hiring practices, in your performance management practices, how you coach your teams to grow through innovation. And then you can actually exit people based on a lack of core values or misalignment. These two lessons were really important for us as a small company, learning to operate a little bigger. So with respect to innovation, one of the core values that I suggest you think about is not making a core value innovation or innovative. The root of innovation is curiosity. So for an example, when you're hiring people, you ask them questions that inspire them to be curious, or how they can tell me about a time that you found some new idea and you couldn't wait to talk about it with everybody. Just get their juices flowing, find the things they're excited about. That was a really big deal. So that was the early days. Then we joined a larger company. Oh boy. You think large companies have everything figured out. It gets worse the bigger they are, by the way, with respect to this. One thing was, it's really interesting that large companies say they have a vision or a strategy, and they really don't. It's usually marketing, and it never goes. The employees think one thing, the customers hear another thing. It's pretty rare that people have this really worked out well. To Konica Minolta, frankly, we're a sales organization. We're a manufacturer of devices, and we sell those devices. So it's a very box or transactional, typical customer relationship, typically. And that doesn't jive well with IT. IT is much more consultative and longer-term sales cycle. So coming with a clear vision of the company we want to be was a big deal. Once you have that vision of who we want to be with the company we want to work for, the strategy is how you're going to get there. And once you have that strategy figured out, the path you're going to take from here to there, you can set your goals. When you can set your goals from the year to the quarter to the month to the week, and then actually give your managers those assignments to how we can drive the company, how everybody can actually connect to the strategy of the company. It sounds like business boring. It is the most important thing you can do, because then you have your entire team focused on where you're trying to go. And that is not easy. It takes probably a good year to get that kind of thing sorted out. It's a pretty big initiative. Another really important thing is when we joined the bigger company, the learning was really about learning about the new products that we were selling versus how do I make you, the human being, better? And that's really key. I can't tell you about the amount of money we invested at that point with middle managers, teaching them actually how to manage people was one of the biggest payback. Because I bet you, in most of your organizations, the manager was the smartest person last year at doing the job. And that is a cardinal sin. It's you end up with people trying to lead by example, because that's your go-to. If you're going to manage a group of people, you typically say, just do what I do. They're not you, and everybody sees things differently. And so management training was one of the most valuable things we invested in. It made a huge difference. When I started working across the border with the US, we had what was ultimately a collection of 55 acquisitions of IT companies and 2 very differently sized organizations, Canada being about 1/10 the size of the US business-wise. So there was a lot of egos. Career paths were very important. The career path for someone that's transforming from maybe working on printers to working on IT, I think one of the sessions earlier today, someone said, when transformation starts getting announced and you start talking about the vision of the company you want to be, the people that aren't aligned with that in their current role get afraid. So transformation or innovation, those people think they're part of the old world and they're going to go away. So you have to have this really worked out well as you announce your strategy. This was big because we had a lot of people that were, let's say, from the core business or the older part of the business, and we had a smaller amount of people that were creating more profitability in the newer part of the company. So people in the older world naturally felt on the outs. So by having career paths for different job titles in the old world to the new world, made all that fear go away. Because transformation is scary, and you can't just assume people will naturally get in line with the new world. They will not. You have to take, it's a little bit of hand-holding through that. That was a huge thing. Another thing, the recognition is there because you don't just put people on a career path, you have to celebrate it. You have to share that news of this person just successfully started working in the new world, or they've made this big step, or we have 85 people currently at phase 1 of their career path transformation. Big, important things. Having a formal innovation process, I was in one session earlier today, and the lady said really well that when you're going to innovate a new service or a new product in your organization, talking to the people that new innovation or that process are going to be impacted by need to be the champions of the new service. That's a big part of reaching people. Otherwise, anybody here done innovated, created a new service or a new idea or a new application, new CRM, any new application you brought in your company, and IT just rolled it out and said it's better, use it? That happens all the time. And then you end up with about 6 months of pain. But reaching the people and getting them on side with why we're doing the upgrade, why we're implementing the new service, and getting them aligned with that, they end up being the ones who defend any issues that come up. So it's a really important thing too in the innovative culture. In Europe, I don't know how many people have worked in Europe, and I don't just mean in one country in Europe, I mean across BEU. There's a lot of perspectives. There's a lot of ego. I think one person in my travels said there's 27 kings that have to be convinced that one idea is better than theirs. And it's a massive undertaking to try to implement a shared service across 27 kings. So I don't know if you know what I mean by that, but that means that no matter what your idea is, everybody thinks their idea is better. So trying to roll out a common service in Europe is very, very difficult. So the way we got around that, and it was based on a book, I don't know if you've ever heard of a book called Team of Teams by General Stanley McChrystal from the US. One practice he had was he took the champion of Team 1 and moved him over to Team 2, and again, moved the best person in every department into different teams. So when problems were had or there was collaboration issues, those people would champion the connection with the other group. So collaboration's key. and recognizing and calling out that we know it's difficult working with the different perspectives. That diversity is key. I like this. I think it's pretty natural that you would celebrate innovation, but I think more importantly, celebrating failure is a big deal. And I remember from early days at IT Weapons, at least, we had people that would make a mistake, and it would be costly. They're afraid. I remember a young person coming into my office to say they made a $10,000 mistake, and I said, "Did you learn something?" "Oh yeah." "Did you learn? How would you do it differently?" "I would do it like this." "Can you do me a favor and break that up and send that to everybody? Say that don't do this, do it this way." And I said, "We'll write off that $10,000 as training, and thank you for doing that." And it changed to give people the confidence that it's okay to make a mistake. Will really inspire your innovation efforts as well. So that was a huge lesson. Now in Australia, I'm there. I'm just new there. I'm only a year and a half into that job. It's under construction. So one big lesson was, and I think some people have said this about PNG as well, is that our MD was pretty new, our managing director was pretty new there. He's from Japan, and I'm a Canadian. So he and I, between us, are making that vision and strategy plan. But who are we to go into a new country, into Australia, and just start making decisions? So instead, we seek first to understand. We went and met with every single employee across the country and gathered all their complaints, comments, whinges, whatever it might be. We ended up with 579 comments, and we categorized those to 8 major issues that we're going to work on. But we really asked people, if you were designing the company 10 years from now, what would it look like? And so what should we keep doing? What should we start doing? What should we stop doing? And it was a great way for them to engage, to feel heard. We designed the strategy based on that, and then we started clocking the data. So as things would improve, we would show them progress towards to the strategy. Australians otherwise will cross their arms and dig their heels in and say no. So you have to convince them that it's a good idea, the strategy, and constantly prove progress. And where we've heard that we tried to transform 3 or 4 times before and failed, that we are making, I think the people are saying we're 2.5 times faster and more successful after a year. So that transformation on innovation was the roots of that people can see all the new ways that we're doing things is constantly proven, and people can, we have a collaboration portal. They can see the status of every aspect of our transformation live. Another big lesson in Australia has been that, like I said before, we have the core business, the original print business, and then this new IT-centric side of the business. And the first mission was, we have 2 efforts of transformation. One is to make the core business better, more IT-like, and then the second one is to create all these new services. So most people, if you're a print-centric person or core business-centric person, you're afraid of the new stuff. So we said we're not creating new stuff until we make the core business better. So that got everybody engaged. Now we have a new platform that how we're going to do sales relationships that makes a print. I mean, is anybody excited about printers? I mean, Peter, Justin, yeah. But really, I mean, frankly, it's not that sexy, right? So, so this makes the printer relationship be a lot more data-centric, a lot more proof that you're saving money in your printer environment, and it's a lot more data-centric stuff that you typically won't have in a printer relationship. And then we eventually start moving the new IT services into a customer's relationship. So that was a big deal there as well. But Then, so like I said, on my path, I got to Australia, and then it got me here. So yesterday, we spent some time at Don Bosco. Yesterday? Saturday? Right. Yep, it's Wednesday. And we met all the kids that were working in IT and electronics and in electrical, building solar networks, building control systems, building designing new Wi-Fi networks and stuff. It was a really fantastic, refreshing thing for me to get a really local spin on innovation. And I wanted to know how ready your country is for the amount of innovation that Jane's talking about coming. And I tell you, strong, energetic, excited, humble, brilliant kids that you have to pick from. And I encourage you to really have a look. And just fantastic. I can't tell you enough. But and then I went to visit a local business, and just ran into 3 of the technicians are from Don Bosco. So it was a really nice way to connect from the kids at the school to these 3 folks are about a year into their jobs, and they all had such great things to say about not just the opportunity they had in front of them, but the schooling and how it was applicable to this job. So it was really good, and congrats to Peter for bringing folks in from there. And it is a 4 intern project as a program as well, apprenticeship. Yep, you end up with a formal education on that apprenticeship as well. Pretty great, innovative thing that they're doing over at Remington there as well with young people. So I think I'll just sum up with some results that I've had through my journey, and I'll just read it to you here. That this is from a CEO in Europe. I was struggling to steer the culture of this ship. I'm elated to see our company finally navigate a successful transformation. A resulting innovative culture is a testament to the incredible teamwork that made it happen. So this person, he was 3 transformations, 3 failures, was looking at losing his job. And this was a last-ditch thing, this build the foundation of innovation, get everybody excited, people seeing a vision of where they're going, re-engaging with the company, and he felt part of it as well, because it can be pretty disconnected if you're an executive and you just look at spreadsheets all day, but to get out there and connect with the innovation itself, he was very excited about it. A senior executive on the sales team was thrilled to have witnessed the company's remarkable transformation, which has not only reinvigorated its team, but also cultivated an inspiring, innovative culture that makes every day a joy to be part of. So that's a super positive thing for a salesperson to say. Typically, the salespeople say things about themselves and about commission, but this was really, really a positive. I really appreciate it. This one was from a young lady that runs the marketing team in North America. Never thought I'd see the day when our company transformed from being a dinosaur into a rocket ship, but here we are blasting off with an innovative culture that makes work feel like fun, intergalactic adventure. That's a marketing. I like that one as well. And then this one is, I don't even know, someone has to tell me if this is positive or not, but whoa, Tedder, that's me, I guess. We went through this epic transformation. Maybe I'll try this again. Whoa, Tedder, we went through this epic transformation trip, and now we're rocking at an innovative spirit, and it's totally rad. Work's never been cooler, man. So that was a printer tech that is now one of the top network people on the IT team. So I just share that with you because it's a little bit boring with the bullets, but I tell you, if you can get that foundation of innovation, people do the work for you. The stuff Jane was talking about, that list of stuff, I don't know how many of you I talked to and you said, it was amazing, but oh no, I don't know what to focus on. It's so much, it's a little overwhelming. But you don't have to know. You just have to build a team, give them the tools, and get out of the way. Look at these yellow shirts. And they're all leaving because, this is not so good for them. But that's the thing. You make the team, and get the right people, that recruiting process, find the right people, find the passion, find the curiosity, and I think you'll find that there's nothing more as a leader to know you did a little bit and then it picked up momentum and took off, and you're just watching it go, and you did that, but they're doing that. And that's something you're building leaders of the future when they just get that, just chase the curiosity, and I can't say it enough. Anyway, a little bit of quote from Muhammad Ali, because I think it's important. I just sum up with him, impossible is temporary. I love that as well. So with all the stuff that James was talking about, Matt tried to scare us into not paying attention, and let's drive the innovation. Build your culture first. Get the vision, the strategy clear, and then hire the right people that are all wired like you are, and you'll be fine. That's it. Okay. Thank you.